Hey, what's up, guys? So today I wanted to discuss something that I have been interested in for a minute to kind of discuss and talk about, and I could even talk about, there's so many examples, and I just wanted to bring up a few today, being character gimmicks. So what is a character gimmick? Kind of just giving an example. I have just two examples right here. So mainly inside of a character's passive, especially in the early days, a lot of characters were given sort of this gimmick that Dokkan just gave to them and they kind of stuck to. So like one example, and this is like the most obvious one that they still stick to, is like the Goku example. So Goku day is 5/9, month 5, day 9, and it'll kind of make it so a lot of passive stuff in his thing will use 59, like 59% attack and defense, and then when he attacks he gets 59% attack and defense, and then if he guards, stuff like that. And then same for Gohan. He has, 5/8 would be his name, so 58% gets used a lot for him, or 158%. Stuff like that is sort of what I mean when I'm talking about like a gimmick in a character's roster. One of the examples I'm not going to talk about today, but like Janemba, when he was first made, he was given guard. And so like all Janembas have guard. Like that's their gimmick, is guard. So like when a Janemba comes out, you know that Janemba will have guard, right? Or, I mean, that was broken once with Tech Janemba. And honestly, that's another thing. When you see these characters go on later into, like, as the game goes further, and passive just getting so much more complex, a lot of these characters kind of break their mold just because, like one of the examples I'll go over, and I guess we can start with, let's see, we have... First I'm going to talk about is Gogeta, one of the first major units for sure. His gimmick, day one, was being super effective against all types. And that's kind of the Gogeta gimmick, is being super effective against all types. They, have stuck to that pretty well. Sorry, let me just fix my apologies. They've stuck to that pretty well. Like, Gogeta just stays super effective against all types. That's kind of just the gimmick. And so we saw when the first card came out, he was super effective against all types. Then I have Gogeta here. Interesting thing about Gogeta, the 5th year anniversary, not being super effective against all types here, but when he goes blue, he then becomes super effective against all types, right? That's the Gogeta. I have AGL Gogeta here, who again, super effective against all types. Or another thing we saw as time going on is critting, right? So he was attacks effective against all types. Oh, sorry, that was easy A. When he goes blue, he would actually crit. So it's either crit or being effective. That's like the Gogeta gimmick. Here we have Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, who pre-EZA actually wasn't effective against all types. He had none of that going on, but I did put him in because he would become have a thing of effective against all types in his passive, because that's a Gogeta thing. An interesting thing about Gogeta here, actually, this is another thing. Some of these characters will actually cross over and be multiple different gimmicks. Gogeta actually follows the Super Saiyan 4 gimmick, which I think is really interesting. If I open up the Super Saiyan, the Shadow Dragons saga here, Super Saiyan 4s hold the gimmick of being able to counter. So a lot of Super Saiyan 4 units can just counter. Super Saiyan 4, the LR 4-year anniversaries can, the Strength can, the 8th year anniversary cannot counter, which, I mean, it's fine, I guess. Like, not all of them counter. Like, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta here doesn't counter. Or no, he does. What am I saying? Am I dumb? No, he counters as well. When he turns into Gogeta, he counters. Counter unit, has a counter. So Super Saiyan 4s, they get countered. That's like their gimmick. Another example, and Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta here is interesting because he is a mixture of two different gimmicks, right? He has the Gogeta, so he's effective against all types, and then he has the Super Saiyan 4, which means he counters, which I think is also a really interesting thing to also kind of go over. And I also have Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Again, another effective against all types and countering, right? He has two different things at the exact same time, being able to counter and being able to do that. And then this, of course, is the 3-year anniversary. Again, Gogeta. effective against all types. Goku and Vegeta, not effective, because Goku and Vegeta are not the gimmick. I guess it would be Super Gogeta. Of course, they can, you know, crit when they easy aid, so, you know, you could say that part of it. But Gogeta units, always countering, critting or effective against all types. That has always been sort of like the Gogeta gimmick. Let's now move on to the other one I want to talk about. Okay, here we go. The Vegito, other one I want to talk about now. Vegito, since he came out, his gimmick has been countering. And I'm actually not, let me specify, Super Vegito is a counter unit. Specifically only Super Vegito, starting with AGL Vegito here. On his release, they stuck to countering. They said, you know what, Super Vegito is going to be the counter unit. So we saw lowering damage reduction from normals and then countering. Moving on to the next Vegito came out, he stuck to the same pattern. Next Super Vegito that came out, he stuck to the same pattern, lowering from normals and countering. That is the Vegito, Super Vegito mechanic. The 3-year anniversary, right? The Goku and Vegeta don't have any lowering or countering, but when they become Vegito, again, countering. Of course, but he didn't have like a lowering attack, right? I mean, his Easy A did get damage received, damage reduction. But pre-Easy A he wasn't. But countering, right? And countering is more it than the damage reduction. And then lastly, of course, the new unit that just Easy Aid, in fact. But they as well, when they become Vegito, was a counter unit. So Vegito's gimmick, and every Super Vegito that comes out, theoretically is a counter unit, right? That's just what they stuck to. That's kind of like what to expect from a Super Vegito. Now I say Super Vegito, not just Vegito in general, because if this would load, thank you. Vegito Blue kind of broke the mold here. So this Vegito Blue stuck to it, but he also is, I guess, he's a mixture of two gimmicks again. Blue Vegito is not really a counter unit. So this one, the one that came out a long time ago, 2016, he was a counter unit. So he did hold the counter. He did hold the Super Vegito counter, right? So he was like Super Vegito, and so initially it was almost like, oh, Vegitos are just counter units no matter what. But he also introduced this other thing, which is attacking like a lot. So he gets 2 additional attacks. So he could super 4 times. And as the game progressed, Blue Vegitos moved away from Super Vegito's counter and became units who would just attack a ton. Just do hella attacks pretty much. They would just always attack. So when they went to the next Vegito, the tech one, they got rid entirely of his counter ability. And they leaned heavily into his multiple attacks, right? So now he no longer is just he can't counter at all, but now he is going to be launching out attack after attack after attack, right? So Blue Vegito's gimmick moved away from counters, and if this would load, thank you, moved into attacking multiple times. The 5th-year anniversary did this as well. Base Vegito, you know, nothing like they're the same as like Strength Gogeta, but when he goes Vegito Blue, he doesn't counter. He attacks, right? He can attack up to like, what, 5 times or something, right? Additional super, additional attack, right? That's became the gimmick of Blue Vegito, right? And then again, we see that with even the newest Vegito that just came out last worldwide. When he becomes Vegito, right? His whole thing is attacking a lot of times. But of course, and this is also a great example of newer units. A lot of newer units, while they might roughly hold a gimmick still, they can drop that gimmick. So like Vegito here is effective against all types, right? But it's not because he has the Gogeta. These are modern day units. A lot of modern day units are effective against all types, right? That's just the thing about modern day units. They're effective against all types. So a lot of, as we get to more new units, they do so much that the quote unquote gimmicks of them are broken. Let me pull up a couple more examples. Okay, so I come back to I've grabbed a couple more examples that I won't go as in depth about, but I did want to talk about. There's so many of these that you know, I can make multiple videos on just all the gimmicks that they do. So I mentioned earlier Janemba guarding unit, right? This Janemba here broke the mold kind of. This one does guard, The base Janemba here does guard, but when he went into Super Janemba, they took the guard away. I know he guards for 1 turn because of the way transformations work, but like base kit, he's not really a guard unit. So they did take that away from him, but he also has chance to dodge. And it kind of feels like that's another thing that Janemba's had. Of course, in Janemba here, guards, strength Janemba here, guards, physical Janemba here, guards, right? So Janemba's gimmick has been guard, but he also has like I would say a secondary gimmick of dodge. Strength Janemba here could dodge. It's been a minute since physical Janemba can't dodge from what I remember. Yeah, he just guards. He doesn't dodge at all, or he nullifies. Yeah, no, he doesn't dodge. But some of these Janembas they do give dodge to. So like the physical doesn't, but strength had dodge into him. I remember the tech one turns into a Janemba that can dodge. Baby Janemba here has dodge. He's like a dodge unit. So kind of Janemba is first and foremost a guard. I think is the sort of the main gimmick they've kind of stuck to, and then secondarily they've kind of moved to dodging for him. Next I have Baby here. Baby doesn't have a lot of cards, so like to say it's a gimmick might be incorrect, right? Baby has what, 1 card, like 1 real card, which is like the LR. So perhaps it's not like right, quote unquote, to say, oh yeah, Baby, like he has the gimmick. But one thing I was going to point out with Baby is sort of his buffs against pure and hybrid Saiyans. They like to have Baby, have buffs against pure and hybrid Saiyans. And maybe this is a bad example because, again, like I said, this is one card for Baby, because like this is such an old card that, yeah, I mean, like, look at that passive. Like this was before they would even know or like even think about putting pure and hybrid Saiyan buffs in him. So maybe a bad card to pick, but that's another one I picked out. The banner unit has buffs against pure and hybrid Saiyans. Yeah, there you go. This is a better than I thought. Sorry. Yeah, see, like the banner unit also pure and hybrid Saiyans, more damage. So that's like another gimmick that came to mind. Also thought of Broly. A lot of Broly's. Broly again is kind of a character with 2 gimmicks. Broly's either fall into one of 2 camps, it seems like, with their gimmick. Some Broly's, like Strength Broly here, the old school physical Broly, the strength, old school strength Broly, LR strength Broly. And I mean those 2, the new LR Broly, of course. And there's one more that's definitely slipping my mind, but these Brolys were attack all units. Broly was the first character, this one, to introduce that mechanic, and other Brolys have followed suit with it being damage all enemies. Like I said, this Broly has it, LR Broly has it, the new LR Broly has it on his transform state. This Broly doesn't have it. He has the other mechanic. So Brolys fall into 2 mechanics. It's either going to be that one where they attack all, right? It's been a minute since yeah, doesn't do any damage. Doesn't hurt everyone, yeah. They either fall into that mechanic or they fall into the attack multiple times, like Vegito Blue. Broly almost feels like a Super Vegito Blue type situation. You're either going to attack all with one of them, or you're going to be like this physical Broly down here. Oh, well, this is forgot about Super Broly here. This is also an attack all unit who, funnily enough, has both mechanics. Or you're going to be like Tech Broly, this old school physical Broly, this Broly once transformed. I mean, this Broly as well. The new one also does it. Or this Int Broly, where their gimmick is just attacking multiple times, multiple supers. Like this Int Broly could super multiple times against pure hybrid Saiyans. This Broly we know supers like crazy. This Broly once transformed does multiple supers. This Tech Broly again, multiple supers, right? So Broly has 2 gimmicks. Either he's supering a lot or he's attacking everyone. Or the new unit is a mixture of both. Gotenks I brought up for Gotenks feels like just such a gimmicky character. Some of these Gotenks, especially in the old days, not really nowadays, physical Gotenks here and tech Gotenks, they had a interesting mechanic where their best super attack was on their 11 key. when you would get, because you could super at 9 key for them, and once you hit 11 key, they would have a different super attack effect, and it would be like a better effect. You'd want to hit 11 key with them. That was an interesting thing with these Gotenks. Other than that, like that was what I thought about when I thought of like characters I was looking through, just kind of throwing down some, and that's like the gimmick I thought of. There's probably more gimmicks I'm not thinking about at the moment, because they don't really like attack all or anything. I know I know the banner unit here does attack all. I know a lot of Gotenks is like to seal, stuff like that. And then lastly, I want to talk about Bardock. Bardock has a lot of gimmicks towards like Frieza, right? This AGL Bardock here buffs against Frieza. If there's like I think the physical Bardock even has something for it. It's easy. Yeah, Frieza. If Frieza's in it, he does more damage. If Frieza's there, he can transform right away. Or if a Frieza clan unit is there, he does more damage. Stuff like that, right? Like if there's Frieza in the unit, see, includes Frieza, he will do something. And that's sort of just the other gimmick I want to talk about. Bardock has a lot of things revolving around Frieza, which is very interesting. This Bardock, I have not used him a little bit. Can he counter? No, he just dodges. No, he doesn't hold the Super Saiyan 4 gimmick of countering. Interesting. I like to see I love to see that crossover of sort of two different gimmicks coming into one. I think that's one of my favorite things. So, you know, that's it. I just wanted to go over just some more gimmicks, of course. There's so many of these, guys. I could make like a lot of videos. And if you want to see more videos on gimmicks, I would love to make them for you. But I just think this is a really interesting topic that Dokkan kind of does, right? There's the, you know, Goku 59, 58, 510 for Goten, that kind of stuff. I think that's all really cool. I think that's interesting they stick to that. So, of course, I can go through more of that if you guys are interested, but I'm going to end it here. I don't want to make the video too long now. So I appreciate you guys. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, night, whatever time it is, and have a wonderful rest of that day, night. Peace out.